Hey, welcome back to the channel. Just when I thought my epic series on Wargaming clubs had finished, I've had a few conversations about it and a few people have asked me for some more further thoughts and ideas on it. So here's some bonus episodes. I think it's probably about 4 bonus episodes, but if you've got something you'd like to ask us or want me to talk about that we've not already discussed, give us a shout. I'm quite happy to talk about it. So this bonus episode is about running narrative campaigns and leagues. So I suppose this is getting into a bit more of the detail about some of the things I talked about. Now, wargaming isn't just about single battles, it can be, but there's so much fun involved with campaigns, leagues, and add epic story, fun rivalries, ongoing challenges. So explore how to run them. So writing a compelling campaign storyline. So I've had loads of experience with running campaigns. A few bits of top line ideas. Keep it simple. The more complicated a campaign to run is, the more time it's going to take for you, and the easier it is for it to come apart and players not really get it. If you've got a small group and maybe it's 4 people, it could be really applicable to run a super detailed campaign. But actually, the more people involved, the simpler it needs to be. Certainly, I started running an American Civil War campaign, and I had plans for it to be quite a detailed campaign. I consider it average complexity. As it turned out, it's probably too complex for most people, so it just became big games once a month with the storyline affecting the sort of big game, who was attacking, who was defending, a few wee bonuses there as well. I've also seen campaigns fall apart where the campaign structure is set up so the winners get more bonuses to their army. Now, there's an inherent danger and difficulty here that the winners are generally the better players, so giving them more bonuses to their army for winning means they are more likely to win games, which means that people who suddenly start losing become disenfranchised. We could never possibly win this campaign. So my advice is when you're structuring a campaign, winners gain victory points towards winning the campaign, losers gain reinforcements or army bonuses. And the rationale for that is, as a force starts losing, the high command gives them extra resources to shore up a front, but actually a successful attacking force, they've expanded away from their supply lines. That's why they're not getting the support that the defenders, the losers, are gaining. The other key tip for whatever you're going to do, if you're going to run it over too long a time frame, people just naturally lose instinct. A lot of wargamers are hobby butterflies, so they might start off wanting to play loads of black powder, for example, but the new shiny turns up and they want to play that. So you will get people who naturally drop out. So yeah, keep it relatively short, keep it simple, and reward battle winners with campaign victory points and losers with the campaign bonuses. So what does a compelling campaign storyline require? Choose a theme, really get into it. Talk about what the players might be interested in, or even themes which really exemplify our period. So for example, a game about the English Civil War or War of the Roses, you might have different factions, different sides of the conflicts in different parts of the country facing off against each other, and it could be a bit of a mismatch of troops and allegiances here and there, and maybe people can change allegiances, and you've got treachery, all that sort of good stuff. But maybe a World War II game could be starting off with the armies beach assault in Normandy, pushing into Normandy, so you've got very much an attacking force and a defending force. Create a narrative structure for your campaign storytelling. Do you want it to be narrative, or do you want it to be branching? So for example, 1945, fall of Berlin, 80th anniversary coming up, or just happened. Depending when you watch this video, yeah, I'm recording it before the fall of Berlin. I had a plan for a series of games. So Berlin's going to fall. It's how quickly Berlin can fall. Stalin has ordered it to fall on a certain date, and the generals are doing their best to make it happen. So game 1 would be the attack on the Silo Heights. Game 2 would be the outskirts of Berlin. Game 3 would be the middle game. Game 4 would be the final defense of Berlin. So history is not going to change, but how the Soviet player does in each one of those missions determines how quickly they're able to take Berlin. And with that as well, the Soviet players or the German players are going to pick up bonuses based on what happens in each one of those. So it could be harder or easier for the Soviets to get in and take Berlin. So both players are going into it knowing that the Soviets are probably going to win. And the campaign is set up so the Soviets do have a victory condition, but exploring that's kind of the fun bit. Or do you have a branching series of games? So game 1 is invasion as attacker defender. If the attacker wins, it goes one way to maybe if the attacker loses, it goes another way, and there might be different narrative options based on the results. So you've almost got like a tree diagram of options going down like a flow diagram, and you can follow that through the campaign. Also as well, narrative campaign, it's always good to maybe have some special rules or evolving objectives throughout the battles. And the special rules are better if it's easier to remember. So if they don't change the game rules too much, and maybe it's a one-shot thing you can deploy or play. So for example, in the Berlin game, it could be if the Germans held the Silo Heights longer than expected, in game 2, they get a chance to deploy a bunker in their deployment zone. You know, the Soviets are still going to have like 1,500 points to the German 1,000 points, but the Germans have got this wee advantage. Or maybe you've got a template and you're able to have a free artillery strike per battle, place it down, normal scattering rules apply. So yeah, special rules, easy to remember, easy to use, that don't change the rules of the game too much. It's actually what you're going to have is a lot of different people hopefully playing in this campaign, so the easier it is for them to remember and engage with it, the better. Structured leagues. So a couple of things with leagues is you should arrange a league so that it's sort of round robin. So there's two ways to look at leagues. You can either have like everybody in the league play each other, or within the kind of league structure, you're going to play 2 people. So we've done a league, escalation league, and round 1 was you played 2 people in the league at 500 points. Round 2 was 2 people in the league at 750 points. Round 3 is 2 people in the league at 1,000 points. You're going to play a different person at each one of the levels, but we're using kind of a Swiss system to make sure that people play winners and losers play losers. So at the end of the results, you know, the best players are going to have played each other and got quite a satisfying result out of it. The other thing with leagues is if you've got too many people in the league, let's say you want to have 12 people in a league, 12 people, that's going to be 12 games. It's quite a lot of games, quite a lot of weeks to keep things going. What you might want to do is break them down into groups of 4. So you've got seps, if you will. So you've got 3 groups of 4. Everybody in that mini group of 4 plays each other, with the 3 winners going through, and maybe the highest scoring person who didn't end up top of the league going through to like a semi-final and a final structure. And that means you can get them league games played in a relatively close period of time. If you are doing league games as well, my advice is give it a period of time for those games to play over. So don't have them played week after week after week after week, because people are going to naturally miss out. Say, right, you've got a month to play a game or 2 months to play 2 games. And actually, when we did our bot action league, we said you could play those games wherever you wanted. So be it in another club, someone's home, at our club, or in West End Games in Glasgow, which were also doing bot action stuff at the time. Yeah, make sure that you're using a Swiss system. Swiss system basically means winners play winners, losers play losers. Also, if you're doing a league, maybe think about some sort of participation awards, not just for winning. Maybe do a wee trophy for the overall winner, or at least a good handshake, honour and glory. But also maybe have some objectives to achieve during games, which would be unusual and less likely to achieve. And that means that if you are not going to win the league, you can still stay involved in the league and do some pretty cool stuff. So, for example, I don't know if you're playing boat action, maybe for rolling 3 food bars in a game, get you a special award or notice. So keeping players engaged. A good campaign has visual elements of it, so be it maps, battle reports, campaign logs. And I've seen all sorts of maps. So you know, have a map and colour in sections for occupying it. One of the things I've done before is have a map with the provinces with pins, but some string between the pins. So as the battle waged, you took the pin out, put it forward, and that pulled the physical representation of the front line forwards and backwards. Maybe you had some key objectives you were trying to push forward. That had some really interesting games, and as an umpire for that, I kind of had some special abilities and those special mission rules based on what was happening, where those supply lines were, which side was pushing into which side. It was good. Allow players' actions to influence the story. Something cool happens in the game and you're running a narrative storyline, include that into it. Always involve players' actions as much as possible and encourage rivalries and alliances. I must admit, I love the idea of big multiplayer games where you might have a villain, a betrayal on the battlefield, out of game rivalries. Me and my friend, we have some epic rivalries. I do like a bit of trash talk, and I love wrestling, professional wrestling for my sins. And I've actually gone out into the hills and recorded a wrestling throwdown video for a rematch based on a game we had. We got loads of rules wrong. Really fun game. So there's me 5 minutes up in the hills doing my best wrestling impersonations, doing a throwdown, which I stuck on social media as well. But there's some ideas about campaigns and structuring leagues. And as you see there, it's about keeping them fun and engaging. Like you say, if you're running a campaign, winners gain campaign points, the losers gain the campaign victory points. Keeps things relatively balanced. Using a Swiss system for league games, winners keep playing winners. So, after a couple of games, you kind of end up playing people on your sort of level as well. Rewarding things more than just winning games and acknowledging things more than just winning games, and making sure you make heroes of people that aren't just the winners. Because there'd be no winner of a league if there wasn't the people underneath that winner in the league, and they're the real heroes. Anyway, that's a wee bonus episode on running narrative campaigns and leagues. Have you ever played a narrative campaign? Drop your best campaign stories in the comments. Let's share them. I know I've got loads to share. But anyway, I hope you're having a great time at the moment. I'll catch you again. Bye-bye.